Hi everyone, my name is Jan and I am part of the marketing team here at Edulastic. I'm here with Kashekia Smith and she is from Texas. We are featuring her as part of our Innovator Spotlight and we're so excited to get to know her a little bit better. So to start off, will you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as Jan mentioned, my name is Kashekia Smith and I currently teach 7th grade at Cunningham Middle School. I am particularly a teacher that teaches reading and writing at Cunningham Middle School. And I had the opportunity to begin researching some digital databases and digital assessments that will assist my students. And so that's how I became familiar with Edulastic.
That's great. What initially inspired you to work in education?
I was inspired to work in education after working for the state for roughly 12 years, in which I went into various facilities and I did auditing of various records, making sure that they were in compliance with OSHA regulations, making sure that the healthcare codes were up to par, and I traveled a great deal. So I was educating in terms of training various companies to implement regulations that would make, the environment safer for the clients and the individuals that they serviced. And I thought to myself, well, you have a master's in special education, but you're not really utilizing it, to the maximum. And so that's what prompted me to sort of kind of seek a role in education.
That's great. So how did you hear about Edulastic?
I heard about Jelastic, like I said, I was trying to research better ways to digitally assess my students, because a lot of pen and paper assessments are not best suited for all students, and we're moving toward a more technology-based world. So I also wanted to find not just assessments that they could do online that would benefit them, but as a teacher, help me to reassess in areas of weaknesses and deficits. And Edulastic was one of the actual online assessment modalities that I found that gives you immediate feedback in real time. And we use a color coding system that's very similar to the categories that we have here at our school for testing, because we have below, approaches, meets, and masters, below being in red, the approaches being in yellow, the meets being in green, moving forth. And so by me having an opportunity to use Edulastic, I was able to see a visual increase in terms of concept knowledge with my children, but I wanted them to be able to see the same thing. I don't want them to get hooked up on a score. I wanted them to see that visual progress.
So do you have any tips for teachers who are new to Edulastic?
One thing that I can tell you if you're a new teacher utilizing Edulastic is that Edulastic has a help feature where you can always click on that and you can ask specific questions. Another thing that a new teacher would benefit from is if they're nervous about inputting assessments on their own, Edulastic has a plethora of resources in their own built-in library that a new teacher could use. And it allows you to filter that by category. It allows you to filter that by the type of question that you would like to use, the number of questions that you would like to use, genres for those that are teaching reading and writing. So as far as the program itself, it shouldn't be overwhelming to a new teacher because you all have the program designed so well that it's step by step. And you all also have YouTube videos that walk you step by step on clicking on this will take you here, and buttons that you use will take you here. So the only advice that I would have for a new teacher, dive right in. Just don't be hesitant.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback for sure. So I know that you said that you've used Edulastic to help with your English language learners. Do you want to share your screen at this time and tell us a little bit more about this?
Sure, I would enjoy doing that.
Thank you.
See here, Jan, one of the things that is very beneficial to English language learners and pretty much all students as well is the ability to create opportunities for them to make personal connections to a text. When they're able to make such connections, it deepens the understanding. And so in Edulastic, you have the opportunity to incorporate assessments that include visuals. So if you have a student that may not feel confident about being a good reader or being a productive assessment taker, if they're able to examine the visual, it starts to generate images in the brain for them so that they're able to somewhat brainstorm what they think the text is going to be about. So it's helpful for me when I work with English language learners to have them predict what they think the text is going to be about, simply based on the image that is included within the text. And as we navigate through the text and we read the various paragraphs that they have outlined, the student has an opportunity to do what they consider self-checking to see if the predictions that they initially made line up with what is within the text. So that's one feature that I enjoy. The other feature that I enjoy about Edulastic is that for those English language learners that may not really fully encompass the English language as a whole, there's an auditory feature that's built in with Edulastic where they can have the questions read to them. And so they are able to utilize that program so that they get the same benefit as all of the other students that may be independently reading, where they will have the audio to assist and help them navigate through the question and answer choices.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate it. And so lastly, what are you most excited for this school year? I know everything's just getting started and you probably have new students. So what are you most looking forward to?
One of the things that I'm most looking forward to is incorporating the usage of Edulastic with these new sets of students so that they can feel more confident and more comfortable with reading and seeing their own progression. One of the other things that I'm really elated about in terms of utilizing Edulastic is that the students this particular year are going to have opportunities to utilize Edulastic outside of the classroom, because Edulastic has a feature in which you can link with Google Classroom so that you can assign various assessments where the student may utilize self-pacing. So that's one of the things that I'm eagerly excited about. And then being able to review the data with this new set of students in real time, it's going to help them set some more realistic and tangible goals for reading and writing for this academic year.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. And once again, just thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I'm wishing you all the best this school year.
Thank you so very much, Jan, for your time. You have a good evening.
Thank you. You have a nice evening yourself.
You too. Bye.
Bye.